Welcome back to the shop. Today's video is going to be sort of a hodgepodge of different things. I've got a very nice gift from a viewer. It's actually a bunch of small gifts in here, so we're going to go through those and look at that. And possibly clean up one of the tools that's in here. And then I'm going to take apart part of my drill press and try to measure one of the components in there. There's a jackshaft, for lack of a better term, that powers the power down feed in, and David contacted me and said, well, you know, could you get the dimensions for me? And I think that'll be an interesting exercise in trying to measure a part for reproduction. I don't know, I have no classical training in measuring this kind of stuff, so I'm just going to go at it and sort of explain my thought process as we go, right or wrong, and you know, I'd appreciate some constructive criticisms on how to measure these things and what I may have done, you know, wrong or whatever. So anyway, as always, please feel free to comment on that front. And anyway, let me go ahead and get this unboxed, and I will bring you back and we'll start looking at this gift. Alright, let me begin by apologizing for the light. The way it sort of comes through in the afternoon, it sort of washes things out, but hopefully you can see this. Alright, so Mark McKenzie's been a long time viewer of the channel. He's been an integral part of this channel in that he's submitted, you know, just great comments, always constructive comments and feedback. He's also been on, you've seen some of his work on Scoutcrafter's channel, and some of his tools. Actually, one of the tools was a little Billings bicycle wrench that went to Scoutcrafter's channel, and then it had some problems, and I said, you know, maybe I can fix it. Mark mailed it to me, and then I attempted to fix it, and then ruined it. Anyway, I'll put a little screenshot of that particular episode. And but anyway, it was a fun exercise. It really was. So Mark is in the process of building his own shop, his own machine shop, and in doing so, he explained in this nice, very thoughtful letter that he had some extra tools, if there is such a thing, had some tools that he wanted to pass on to some of his favorite YouTube creators. So I would expect to see some other other creators out there with stuff from Mark. But anyway, I was very surprised to get home the other day and find this big box out front with some really awesome stuff. I honestly do not own a hacksaw. I really don't own a hacksaw. It's just one of those things, you know. I've got all sorts of awkward tools and multiple sets of awkward tools and stuff, but you know, a hacksaw is not something that I own. I own sawzalls, 2 sawzalls, but you know, a sawzall's not always the right job. You know, for example, when you're cutting, trying to reestablish the grooves in vice jaws or something like that, you know, a hacksaw could be the perfect tool for that kind of stuff. So anyway, he's not only sent me a nice hacksaw, and this Stanley Made in USA hacksaw, he also sent me several regular hacksaw blades, and then a very interesting blade. And this is one of those diamond profile. I understand that these are designed for cutting things like cast iron. I believe that's what this is intended uses, what it was for. Sent me a very nice 3-jaw puller. This is something that, you know, if you don't have a good puller, it is just really a great tool. And I have a 3-jaw puller, however, I've broken the end off of mine, which is, you know, can sometimes cause more problems than you know, you want to contend with. So anyway, this is great. This is really an awesome gift. I was super surprised to see this in there. Also, you know, look at this, a plumb claw hammer. I have a lot of junk claw hammers, just dollar claw hammers and things like that, but the fiberglass handle, plumb, you know, what a great hammer. Also, this framer's hatchet. This is a great tool. These are really neat. I think I used to do quite a bit of camping, and this is like the one thing that I wouldn't want to leave home without. You know, splitting small wood, hammering in tent stakes. It is just an all-around handy utility tool to have. I think this is just an indispensable thing to have, you know, not only in the shop but out there at the campsite. So that's really neat. Also, what looks to be sort of a stubby set of metric and standard full sets of Allen wrenches. You know, this is just great. I have some other ones, but they're really long. I think not this will compare. It's sort of hard to see, but these are probably 3/4 of an inch or an inch longer. These are just standard ones that he gave me. But these are stubby ones, and you know, that's great. Because if you were to try to cut these off, these are super hard, and you could soften them up and they wouldn't be able to hold the edges well. I've done that before, but they're not quite equal length, but anyway. Awesome to have more Allen wrenches. He included some oddball Allen wrenches, and you know, you really can't have enough of these things. They look to be a lot of the common sizes, whatever that is. So, you know, I'll find a use for those. Also, I guess he mentioned his wife didn't want this kind of paint anymore, so anyway, decided to include it in the thing, and I really like this color, this sort of satin hunter green. I almost painted the vise this color. I almost did, but anyway, I chose for that old black. One of the most useful tools, and it sounds awkward if anybody's new to the channel, if you're getting into restoration or working with anything that's sort of old and greasy and whatnot, dental picks are indispensable tools to have. They are just great. And these are much nicer than the stuff that I have. I have these short-handled things, and I have a couple different versions and whatnot, but I don't have anything this well. I didn't have anything nearly this nice, so these are going to be great to have. Some carbide tip masonry drill bits. These are really handy to have. I don't have a lot. The house, this house is all wood, so I don't have too much occasion to do the masonry stuff. But I always like to keep a couple in my toolbox when I end up working somewhere else. So anyway, thank you very much for this. This will come in handy at some point, no doubt. And then an old tool. These are old Crowder needle nose pliers. I think the profile has been modified on this a little bit, and that's cool. I really like the fact that somebody's come through and customized this to meet their needs. But the jaws on that are perfect. You can't see any light through that at all. These are in really great shape. And the neat thing about Crowders and a lot of the older tools, I don't know if you can see that, is the embellishments in the handle. I think that's going to clean up real nice. So, alright, I'm going to move on to the drill press section of this video now, and then if time permits I will clean these up and polish these, and we'll see how they look at the end. Alright, so this is the piece that David was talking about, and he's got a drill press this is a circa 1947 or something like that Walker Turner 20-inch model 1100 drill press with the auto feed. I've got a VFD on this, and so if I want to go forward, I go forward, and if I want to go down, I can hit the button. Auto feeds. The VFD is pretty neat because I can speed it up, slow it down, go reverse, do whatever I need to do with this. The VFD effectively takes the 110 volt AC current that's coming out of the wall, single phase, turns it into three-phase power. Now three-phase gives you a variable to modulate the frequency that the three-phase operates at. You're going to have to find another channel where somebody knows what they're talking about in terms of the science behind that, as I cannot adequately explain it, but I know it's really cool. It's pretty neat, and I haven't seen. Mr. Pete does another version of this where he also does a Walker Turner, but this is a nicer drill press than Mr. Pete's, I would dare to say, because I think his doesn't have the auto feed. Anyway, what I need to do now is I'm going to disconnect this section and bring it down and put it on the workbench. And this is, David, don't thank me for doing anything. This needed to be done anyway because I've got some slop in this bushing, and I imagine I could probably pull the dimension off of here, but I don't know how the bushing. Anyway, it's something I needed to do anyway. So this is a perfect excuse. Let me go ahead and get this pulled off of here, and I'm just gonna take this belt off like that, and I'm gonna need two hands, so I'm gonna put the camera down and bring it back to the workbench when this is off. Alright, so I've got that jack shaft pulled off of here, and the first thing that I ran into is this piece of aluminum with these wacky looking shims on it. I don't know what. There's nothing else on the machine that's aluminum. I don't know why. Well, there doesn't appear to be anything else aluminum on that machine. So this is really awkward to me why that would be on there. Anyway. Yeah, David, I don't know, and I'm not precisely sure where these were situated. They don't seem to have any witness marks there. They don't seem to fit anywhere. That makes any sense to me at all. Anyway, very strange. But let me get this thing disassembled and take it to the wire wheel. Not the wire wheel, the parts washer, and get all the grease and grime off here so that I can begin to pull the dimensions. Alright, so, David, if there's anything that I missed or whatever, feel free to contact me and I'll come back and get these dimensions for you. It's really no problem. Typically, a lot of the stuff that I deal with when I need to get dimensions, it's two-dimensional, and you know, the stuff I traffic in the most is probably gaskets. So if I have a carburetor that needs a gasket, I can bring the carburetor in the office and set it right on my printer and, print a copy of it that's the exact right size, and then bring that copy out and glue it to my filter or my gasket material and use that to cut it out. So for two-dimensional items, a flatbed office printer is really, really awesome for that kind of stuff. But three-dimensional stuff, I had to take my hand to drawing, and there's a lot of imprecision here, but it should be pretty close. I mean, the imprecision in the sense that my fat pencil has to go around the outskirts of this. So anyway, it should be good enough to build a part that's, all you need to do is hold a shaft in the middle of this and get some oil on it. So again, let me just quit rambling about that. So that's it, David. I hope that works. I guess what I'm gonna do now is finish this video up with these pliers that Mark gave me. Alright, about halfway through this I realized that I didn't give you a good close-up. It wasn't very rough, it was just had a little bit of patina on it, so I decided to take that off. I used the coarse wire wheel, then the fine wire wheel, and then the fiber wheel. And I was watching a Super Wrench Garage video the other day, and Matt was talking about the fiber wheel. And I guess the best way to explain it is that the fiber wheel, the role in my shop anyway, is that it is a middle ground between the coarse wire wheel or any of the wire wheels and the belt sander. It sort of gives you the benefits of both in more of a wheel shape. So anyway, it's no panacea. It's not gonna replace the belt sander. It's not gonna replace the wire wheel. It's just, I think it's an effective tool to sort of put that shine on it, and then you bring it over to the buffer and finally buff it out, which is what I did here. And then, of course, I'm just finishing this off with some paste wax. So, the chunky paste wax I will come through later on. Well, I'll do it right now. What I do when I have, like, the residual caught in there, I'll just take some compressed air and blow the rest of it out so I don't have these dried chunks of paste wax on it later on. And I'm just using the land bark. Any sort of paste wax will work. So, anyway, I just want to say, David, I hope the drawings help. I will scan What am I doing? I will scan this in and email it to you. And Mark, thank you very much for the gifts. That was very kind. It was unnecessary, but appreciated. Thank you very much. I'll get a lot of good use out of it, and you know, these are just awesome. So thanks again. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for comments. Have a good night.